brothers on the top with the rugged beat to back it. The night makes the aura and the J can't hack it. The way the moon dangles in the midnight sky and the stars dance around it. Yo, I think it's fly. Intensity. Most rappers.
Welcome to Spin That Back. This is Rick.
I'm Eric.
And this is our review and spoiler talk for Midnight Special, the newest flick written and directed by Jeff Nichols.
What?
What are you gonna
Starring General Zod, Gordo, Mary Jane, and
yeah, but nobody knows who Gordo is.
yeah, bitch from The Gift,
Nobody watched The Gift.
and the little boy from what? This first movie?
Bitch is Michael Shannon, Joe Edgerton, Kirsten Dunst, and I forget the little boy's
Yeah, I don't
name.
remember the boy.
I think I should have remembered. So we're gonna start off with a review of the movie, and we'll get into spoiler talks later on at this point in the video. So if you've already seen it, you could jump to that point, and if you haven't, catch our review and then come back and as we break down the film towards the end of the video.
It's a weird ass movie. It's not for everyone, but I really liked it. It's basically, I mean, it has really a lot to do with this really type of religion that's kind of like Scientology in a way. They never mention the name of it.
Yeah, they
do
never really mentioned it.
It's not a name, which is, I think it's really good. But most of this movie is very ambiguous.
Yeah, well, the basic premise of the movie is that Michael Shannon plays this guy named Roy who has a son named Alton. And it's a really sort of, like he said, it's a sort of ambiguous kind of movie because you kind of just jump into the action. And all we know is that, what was his name again?
Zod?
So we know that Roy has taken Alton away from this, like you said, it's like
The movementarians.
like this sort of like cultish kind of religion. I don't know if he kidnaps him. This is his own son, but he takes him away from that camp, and they're going to this location that he's been called to, and he has to be there at this certain time on a certain day.
Yeah, but he's being chased by the cops and by the fucking the cult.
Yeah, so without getting into spoilers, there's a reason why the FBI is chasing him, and then also this this cult is kind of chasing him, and so it's pretty much
movementarians, bitch.
It's pretty much this chase movie as they're trying to get to their destination.
Yeah, it's. I mean, that's basically what it is. It's really, it picks up like right in the middle of the action. Like you jump right into where they're already on the run, and then we get this like on the news, we get this report that he's being that the little boy's kidnapped, sitting on like an Amber Alert. Where are they at? Where does the movie take place?
I'm not sure. Was it like Arkansas maybe? It takes place like
in the South.
It takes place across various states in the South. Jeff Nichols is like really, I think like for me, like one of my favorite writer-directors working at the moment. And this is his sort of ode to like the old like Amblin movies, like, you know, Steven Spielberg, Close Encounters, and like a lot of calls like towards like E.T. It has like a really similar sort of vibe, like the sort of powers that Alton displays is kind of like really similar to like E.T. in a lot of ways.
Yeah, bitch. Except his fingers don't glow; it's his eyes.
His eyes glow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know.
But E.T.'s tummy glows too.
Oh well, yeah, that's. We don't really get a lot of backstory.
Fuck no. Very ambiguous. You don't really get much of anything, really. I mean, it basically get enough info to set up the plot.
Yeah.
But you don't really get any backstory like on the cult. You just kind of get glimpses of kind of how like they, you know, the shit that they believe in or how they. Because his boys basically like they're. It's almost like they're Jeebus in a way, to where like the boy is kind of like a symbol, and he's like the one that's. He's there to save them, basically.
Yeah.
That's what the boy is, and that's actually the reason why they're looking for him.
So we don't really get a lot of backstory, and I know maybe in some ways you can kind of fault a movie for doing that, but I actually kind of like that they did that in this case because, you know, as the movie starts progressing, you start getting towards the end. You know, a lot of times maybe the explanation or the reveal maybe at the end isn't kind of like what you're expecting. You kind of have like these like grand ideas, like, oh, maybe it's gonna be this, and then it's explained. And then you're just like, well, that was kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I like that they on purpose, like, you know, that Jeff Nichols wrote this in a way to where he doesn't over-explain things. It kind of, like, leaves it up to you in a way. And maybe sometimes that can be kind of like a cop-out. Like I say, well, I mean, well, explain it to me. You're the one telling the story to me. But I know his ideas are a lot. Is like, you kind of come in with your own preconceived notions into the movie, so you can like everybody can kind of take their own meaning and sort of explanation from it. And usually, like I said, that can be a cop out, but in this case, I think it works really well, in favor of the movie.
And the performances are really good. Joel Edgerton, I mean, this guy's a really good actor. I think he was fucking.
He's been like really solid, like his like last few movies.
And I mean Michael Shannon. I mean that guy's he's been great.
And
maybe they should have brought him back for Batman vs Superman because that movie fucking sucked.
Yeah, we'll click to that video as well in case you haven't seen our spoiler review on that one. But yeah, I mean Michael Shannon's always been really solid, and if like he's been in all of Jeff Nichols' movies so far. He's like a little more subdued in this one. But and then we should also talk about the boy that played Alton. I thought he was really good actually.
Yeah, he was really good.
Which Jeff Nichols cast a really good young actor in Mud that played I forget the kid's name in that movie,
but see the thing too is like it's kind of hard to talk about the movie because all you should really know going into it is the premise.
Yeah.
And just kind of like, because if you delve into it, which we are in a bit, it's gonna spoil too much.
Another great effort, I think, by Jeff Nichols. I mean, the guy's been solid. This is like his fourth movie now, and I think he keeps getting better and better. Another solid release by him, so I give it.
I don't know how to feel about it at the end, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, hey, I kind of like the ending. It's really ambiguous, but the whole movie's kind of like that. I want to see, what his next project is. I mean, I'm pretty sure Michael Shannon's gonna be in that too.
Yeah, I think Michael Shannon said that he wants to be like in all his movies.
Yeah, which I mean, it's great, because you get like that collaboration between both of them, and they work really well together. But yeah, I mean, overall, this is a great movie, and I give it.
Oh, tight, yeah. Blue, yellow, pink. Whatever, man. Just keep bringing me that.
We're going to get into spoilers now. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, go check it. It's in limited release right now. And once you have seen it, come back and we're going to jump right into it and break down the film.
After they kind of go on the run at the beginning, they leave that... They leave like that little motel, and then that's when the girl, there was like at the desk or whatever, notices the dad. They showed his picture on his mugshot, or not his mugshot. They showed a picture of him on the.
It was on the news.
On the news, and she called the cops, and then that's when the cops are looking for him. But then there's that scene where they fucking crash into that vehicle, because they shut the lights off on the car, and then they're driving.
He was driving with the night vision.
With the night vision, and there's that one scene, because I don't think that you don't really know who Lucas is until that one scene, because the cop comes out to check on the lady, but then he sees the dad and the boy in the car, and then he gets like, oh shit, he pulls out his gun, but then they hold him up. And then this is like the moment where Lucas doesn't want to shoot the cop, but Roy does. But he gets like a hesitation, and he has to shoot him because he has no other choice. But that's when I kind of noticed, I'm like, oh, this guy's more likely somehow involved or has been involved like in the police force. And that's kind of like when you get a part of his character where he doesn't really want to do the, he's kind of like on the side where he wants to do the right thing. But Roy doesn't give a fuck. He's just like, like, it doesn't matter. We have to kill somebody. We just have to take the boy across.
And also, like, Lucas knew where to shoot him because obviously he knew that he has a vest on.
Yeah.
So he knew where to hit him so that he wouldn't kill him and, they'd be able to get away.
Yeah, so we kind of get, like, a little, hints of what kind of person and character Lucas is. Yeah. And then we find out later on that they've been friends since they were kids, I think he said, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so he's kind of, like, caught in between, trying to... Which they never really said if
actually there was a lot of shit that they never really said.
Yeah, now that I think about it. Yeah, because you don't know if he's still in the somehow.
If he's still a trooper.
Yeah, like if he's you don't know if he's if he left or if he's
I'm not. Yeah, you don't really know. I don't remember if they really mentioned that.
I didn't really mention it, or even how he was involved because he didn't seem like somebody that was part of their cult or whatever. He just kind of seemed to be helping out Roy more than likely because they're close friends, and he wanted to help him out. But I don't really get the sense that he was ever even part of the cult to begin with, he wasn't really involved in it.
Yeah, because that even goes the same for Kirsten Dunst's character, because we find out that obviously they gave Alton away because the cult was the one that became his legal guardian. But we never really find out why her and Michael Shannon's character had their falling out, and then why all of a sudden now they felt this need to go get their son back.
Yeah. So then they're going to Kristen Dunst's character. I forgot her fucking name. They're going
I think
to
her name was Sarah.
Yeah, they're going to Sarah's house to meet up with her. At first, they think that the boy is that he can only be out at night, like he can't be in direct sunlight.
Yeah.
But then we get that one scene, actually the first scene, when you kind of get a glimpse of what his abilities are when they show up at that guy's house. Remember, I forgot the guy's name. He was like also a part of their church.
Yeah, he had left for other reasons too, which we never really found out.
You don't know shit about this movie.
Yeah.
Man.
And then
but then that's when we see like that scene, which I thought was fucking amazing because we don't really know what the boy's abilities are. And I mean, if you see the posters and you see the trailers, you can know that his eyes glow, but you don't really get a sense of what kind of power he has until that one scene, because then he wakes up in the night because there's like an earthquake. Yeah. But then it turns out that this guy's looking into the boy's eyes. I guess he's kind of getting like a vision of kind of like a paradise. Or the thing that he promised, that they were gonna meet up with over here in Florida to show them, or I guess kind of like their what would you call it?
Which I was thinking like didn't the neighbors hear like the damn house falling apart? Like none of the neighbors.
I don't know, unless it only happened like in that one part, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I thought that was a dope scene because you get a sense of this boy that has like these like extraordinary, just like really powerful abilities. I mean, for him to have like these visions and for like the whole roof, and like he almost creates like an earthquake in a way.
Yeah.
And it's like you kind of get a sense of like, damn, like he has like these.
Yeah.
In a way, you kind of look at this like a cult being like, oh, these guys are crazy. Like, why would they? It just seems kind of weird. But then, like, if I look at it and I see like somebody like this little boy has like these abilities, and I'll be like, holy shit! Like,
I mean that for them is maybe like a Jesus figure, I mean, that's, I mean, it's really kind of like a lot of the similar stories that we hear about Jesus, that this boy displays certain powers, and I mean, obviously, I mean, it's kind of not too crazy to think that there would be a group of people that would look at him as being like this Messiah.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what the boy represents. Awesome, like father-son relationship that we see develop throughout the film. Just knowing that this the dad, like no matter what, does everything in his power to not hurt him. Yeah. But at the same time, because we get that one scene after that actually is when his powers kind of start to wear him down. Yeah. And then his body, you can tell like his face, he starts to get really weak.
He starts to get like all sucked the fuck up, and like his eyes are sunk in.
Yeah.
And that's when they have. I said that was another dope scene when they're in the little truck. And they pull over, remember, like his eyes start flashing. Remember, you get like that dope shot from like outside the truck, and you can see like the flashes going off. Yeah, and then that's when they run off into that cave. Remember, and then he actually finally goes out into the sunlight for the first time in like I don't even know how long.
He said he had never seen the sunlight.
Had he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then that in a way it heals him. Because then we see him again after then, and he looks normal.
And that's fine. Actually when we get the first glimpse of that sort of like alternate world.
Yeah, Tomorrowland.
Yeah, but we'll get into that. We sort of get into that first glimpse of when he takes him outside, and you see like that dome, kind of like cover him, and then obviously like, they show up back at the motel with Lucas and Sarah, and I mean he's like, I mean you can see like the life has been brought back into his face. I mean he's like all cleared up, and he's looking pretty normal again.
I really like Kylo Ren's character because he's the one that's obviously questioning everybody. They brought in the I guess like their preacher or whatever. Yeah. They were questioning him. They're like, "Oh, well, look at these numbers. Like, what? Like, how did you get these numbers? And then he started naming all these dates and all these like readings, lectures that he had, and it's like, well, how do you guys know this? But I really like the Adam Driver. Like his character came in and he's like really like he's fascinated, almost like he wants to know this he wants to meet this boy because he's like,
you tell he's a nerd.
Yeah, he's a huge nerd. He's like he wants to meet him because he's amazed. I'm like, wait, how does this boy know this? A part of him wants to believe that he might have these abilities. That these people were talking to him about. He probably hasn't seen them or seen anything like it before, but part of him's like believes in the way. It's pretty cool because going back to the whole religion thing, how you get somebody outside who might not ever be involved in this somehow, but part of you wants to believe that there is some type of higher being out there or somebody that might have these abilities, that these people talk about. And part of you just wants to be like, man, like it's kind of hard to believe, but part of me is like, man, what if it's true? What if, and that's kind of like what his character represents and how he goes about it.
Yeah. The cult sends out their own team to go find Alton.
Oh yeah.
And we see them like tracking them down. And then obviously we had like that big showdown when they kind of think they're in the clear and they come out the hotel room, and then that one guy like caps he caps
He shoots him.
He shoots. He hits Lucas, right?
Shoots Roy. Well, he shoots both of them, but Roy's the one that gets injured because I don't think he had a vest. Lucas had a vest, but yeah, Roy gets shot and he's like bleeding out.
Yeah, and then that leads into like I think one of the best scenes in the like probably the most tense scene in the movie where the guys take off. Obviously, they take Alton and they run off, and then Roy, Sarah, and Lucas like were finally able to like jump in the car and start catching up to him. But then they hit that roadblock, and then he cuts across the shoulder, and that's when the soldiers stop him.
Yeah, it's like oh shit. At that point, I was like, oh, what the fuck's gonna happen right here? They're gonna start shooting or what?
Yeah, like and then obviously the guy tells them to get back on the road, and then that's when we see that like you could see them see like the helicopter come down, and then. Obviously, they see that the truck that the guys were driving that had been chasing them.
The shit was pulled over, but you could tell they had shot at it.
Yeah.
And that's why he was like, holy shit, that they hit the kid? Like, what happened? They didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Adam Driver's character is questioning the boy, and he's in that room. Which is what I like, because they don't explain really what powers he has. You just kind of see him do whatever it is that he does.
Yeah.
Like, as the movie plays out, which I thought was great, because they don't ever go into, like, what abilities he has or what it is exactly that he does. But I thought that scene was really dope because he's like, he tells everybody to get out the room because he just wants to talk to fucking Kylo Ren. And then everybody leaves and he's like, wait, what the fuck is this? Like the boy stands up, but then the camera shows him still sitting down. And at that point, it's like, he's like, holy shit, like he's like amazed, to see that this boy really does have these abilities.
And we never really see how they managed to get out of the building either.
That was one part that kind of like got me. I'm like, wait, like, yeah, there's that scene when they get out of the building. Because like out of nowhere, like they just drive off on like in the Prius.
Yeah.
It's just fucking product placement for Toyota because they're trying to sell you that Prius. But anyway, yeah, like they get out of the building and then out of nowhere it's like, hey, where's the boy at? Like, I don't know what happened to him. And they look and they're not there anymore. I'm like, wait, that doesn't make sense.
Well, there had to have been a way that they snuck out of the building.
Fuck that, man.
We'll get that in the deleted scenes.
They would have had higher security. But yeah, that was just one small nitpick that I had on it.
And we even kind of started seeing, the other thing we forgot to mention, we kind of started seeing like little glimpses of exactly what Alton's powers are because when we had mentioned before that we gets that scene where he's finally out into the sunlight and it kind of like revitalizes him. Mm-hmm. That's when we sort of start getting the first hints of where he says, that there's our world. And then he says,
there's Tomorrowland.
And then, bitch, it's not Tomorrowland, asshole. And he says that there's another world that's like on top of ours. And then obviously that leads like, towards the end.
Yeah, it ties into Tomorrowland.
Bitch, it's not Tomorrowland, asshole. And that's when we get that scene where they finally... That's actually one of the doper scenes is like when they're like kind of running from like the military and like they run through the roadblock. And then we see finally Sarah and Alton jump out the car and they start taking off into that field. And then that's when finally we get to that point where...
that scene was crazy, man.
You see like that other dimension open up? Or what part are you talking about?
No, that happens as they're being chased. Yeah. And then their fucking tire blows out, and I'm like, holy shit! Like they're driving on just the damn wheel itself. Yeah. They see like this, like these crazy structures and like this.
Yeah, we get like a bigger sort of dome, like in that earlier scene, we get like that really big dome, and you see like this one whole area. You see like the other universe that's sort of interspliced with ours.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's almost like another dimension in a way, like something that we can't contact or see,
Yeah, it's like,
and this boy's like the
kind of gets into like a multiverse or like an omniverse kind of like sort of idea, which is pretty dope. And it kind of hints at that because there's you see that scene where there's like a building. But you see there's like another structure that's like kind of like on top of that building. Yeah. So it's pretty dope how it sort of incorporates like our world with this like sort of alternate dimension.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was really dope.
So how did you sort of interpret like when we see these other beings, which we really don't even really see? We kind of get like an outline of them.
And we get to see the eyes, like the little boy. He has like obviously those glowing eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the spirits, bitch.
Yeah, or whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah, that's
So, then that kind of gets into like the whole idea before heaven. is that exactly, we never really find out how Alton came to have the powers that he has, or I mean, how did he come into this world exactly,
Yeah, he says he's from that world,
Yeah.
And that like he's like we were able to, physically see him, but he originated in that other world.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's obviously left open to interpretation. You can kind of like
Jesus.
Yeah, you kind of look at it as like a Jesus figure. Or he comes from like another dimension, another space and time, and kind of leaves it up to you to sort of interpret it in your own way. Whether which I think really works, because if you're religious, you look at it one way. If you're non-religious, you look at it another way. And I think it kind of plays in both ways. And that's why I like that it wasn't overly explained. Because then if we get to the end...
That's one of the best parts of the movie, is that it doesn't explain much.
Yeah.
It leaves to the viewer to interpret it and look at it their own way.
And I'd read interviews with Jeff Nichols, and he sort of mentions that. He says, I kind of... Because obviously we all come in with our own sort of preconceived notions. And he wants you to experience the movie, but then be able to take... You're sort of like your own meaning from it, and usually, like I said in our review, sometimes that can sound like a cop out. He's taking the easy way out, but I really think it works in this case because you can look at it a ton of different ways, and neither one of them is wrong. You know what I mean? And I thought that was really dope. They're trying to get the straight story. Okay, like tell us what happened. And
he tells them exactly what happened.
He tells them the truth, and they don't believe it. And he says, "Look, like we can stay here all day, like." My story's not gonna change because I'm telling you exactly what happened.
Yeah, but just like Noah's Ark, that shit happened, but we don't believe it because we didn't get to see it.
And so then, so obviously, like Lucas is in jail, and then
or like David and Goliath, that also happened.
It didn't, bitch.
Yeah, it did, bitch. In the Bible, it happened.
Bitch, whatever. Were the dinosaurs in the Bible, bitch?
Yeah, you just don't mention them.
So then, and then Sarah obviously escapes. And like I guess is maybe changing her identity. Like we kind of see her cutting her hair.
Yeah, she becomes Mary Jane, and that's how it ties into the Spider-Man universe.
Bitch. At the end is when we see Roy's character, and then
he gets his eyes glow at the end. Remember?
Yeah, you get like that little glimpse, like you kind of get like the little flash, like in his eyes.
So maybe he's communicating with the boy. I'm assuming.
Yeah,
right, in a way.
Yeah,
and he might be able to see him. Nobody else can see him, but maybe he can.
Yeah.
Because that's his, according to the story, it says that's his biological father,
Yeah.
So he's, his blood related to him. But at the same time, I'm like, wait, but if he's from the other world, is the dad also from the other world? Who knows?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. See, it kind of leaves it open.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, that's why I'm glad that, we didn't get this, that we didn't get a lot of exposition. We didn't get a lot of backstory on these characters. I mean, it's pretty much you just follow him from beginning to end this whole chase, and I just like that you're just sort of like going along with them on this ride, and you just see the events play out as they see it play out, and then like it's just, I mean, I guess we're almost kind of like in the FBI's position. It's like they see all this stuff happening, and then they get to the end, and they're like, okay, so what did it all mean? Exactly, what the hell happened?
It's one of those movies you get a lot more after multiple viewings.
Yeah, I definitely want to watch it again.
Yeah, it's not one of those movies because the first time you see it, even me, like when I first, right when I finished watching, I was like, wait, what the fuck just happened? And then I kind of started thinking about it, and I'm like, oh, okay, this meant that, or this symbolized that. But I mean, I'm sure if I watch it a second time, I'll catch a lot of shit that I didn't see the first time.
Yeah, I definitely want to catch it again. I mean, that's pretty much like our sort of breakdown of what went down in the movie. I think. Well, I mean, we're still early on in the year, but I think it's probably been one of my favorite movies so far this year. This one and Batman and Superman. I mean, those are like my two favorite movies this year. So let us know what you guys think of Midnight Special. It's in limited release, like we said, but if it's playing in your city, definitely catch it. It's a really fun movie. Jeff Nichols did it again. So let us know what you guys think if you have seen it. What sort of interpretations you took from the movie. Whether you enjoyed it, hate it, let us know down in the comments below. Hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.
The night is on my mind. The sun is still shining, but now the night is on the mind. The night is on the mind. The night is on your mind.